I don't like hiking because you have to carry everything on your back. And I feel like it's uncivilized. It's like I'm not a mule. It's what mules are for and what they do. I am a human. We invented the wheel for a reason, and I would rather be riding my bike down this road.
I was invited to come on the trip, and I was like, I'm going to say yes. I personally love the idea of joining a trip. This is the first time I've done it, where someone else has planned and I just get to go along. The freedom and relaxation of not making decisions is just a good part of the vacation. And just curious about Bulgaria.
I thought I was going to do all of this research about Bulgaria, and then I didn't.
And so I knew very little about Bulgaria, had only seen a few pictures, and therefore had very little in terms of expectations.
I mean, I expected that it would be old world Eastern Europe, and I knew there was hiking involved.
I thought that it would be hillier than it was. I remember when I went to the Black Sea area, I was just kind of surprised at the landscape. I thought it was going to be more forested, hillier, but I was really surprised that even though I knew that Dex grew up in a resort town, I was surprised to see that it's just like a beach resort.
We left at 6 o'clock from Chicago. We took a bus to a train, to an airplane, to another airplane, to another train, to another bus, to another train, which was 8 hours overnight with some people who were drinking wine out of the bottle and spilled it on the ground.
We were all very tired and dirty after flying, and this train ride was long. It was very, very long. And there was nowhere to lay down, and we were all tired and sweaty. We spent all night on that train, not sleeping very much.
The train was so full that people were actually sitting in the aisles. In hindsight, it probably wasn't really smart to fly into Sofia when we had to go to Varna. However, I don't think I would trade that experience for anything. It was only disappointing that it was nighttime, so you couldn't literally see anything. But when the sunrise came, it was so beautiful. And the only people who were awake were me and Dex, and everyone else was sleeping. And I could have woken them up, but I didn't want to share it.
And then we took 2 more buses and then a car. And now we're at the Black Sea picking figs, which are amazing and one of my favorite things in the world. I got earrings I'm wearing from Bulgaria to commemorate the occasion. Usually, since we've been back, when people ask me what one of my favorite memories or what was memorable about my trip, eating figs by the Black Sea is one of the things that I bring up. Before we went to Bulgaria, Dex made a very, very thorough map of locations that we could choose between. He gave probably 2 months worth of tourist options for us to look at on this map, and we looked at a bunch of them. And one of the ones that stood out to me and I was very excited about was Cape Kaliakra. It's, I think, the easternmost point in Bulgaria, jutting out into the Black Sea on Europe's second most populous bird migration route. So I was very excited to see birds. And I don't think we saw anything but swallows, which is okay. Cape Kaliakra was actually extremely beautiful.
It just felt very unique and I don't know, kind of historic, because we just don't have anything like that here in the States. And I just don't think I can fathom the amount of history in that place.
I was struck by the color of the water, the very unique pointiness of the cape. It definitely had very special energy.
The whole coastline is amazing. I mean, there's this beautiful fort. It overlooks the sea and it's just incredible. And apparently you can see dolphins from the coast. We looked really hard for a long time and didn't see any dolphins, but I mean, it's just an amazing, magical place.
And we arrived and found that field of snails.
There's the Black Sea. It's kind of blue today. That's a fig bush. That's Sonia. And that's a field of snails. Amazing. All of these mysterious, unidentified plants are snails. Here's Amanda, looking amazing.
I personally enjoyed sticking all of the cute little nature treasures into my hat, decorating it like a bird might decorate their nest with treasures.
And afterwards, we got to go and swim, and we swam in this local beach that did have sand and children hanging out, but it also had a lot of rocks. And like Dex grew up on the Black Sea, so he's a good swimmer. I'm not a good swimmer. I'm afraid of water. For the most part, I don't consider myself a strong swimmer. And he was like, oh, it's much more fun when you come out into the deep part with all the waves. We called it the danger pool because there was a lot of dangerous, I don't know what it was, like rocks or kind of reef area. And the waves were like smashing against us. And I didn't even go out that far, and I got really scared. And eventually I just let myself kind of flow into the shallower area and got like a knot gently floated through this patch of seaweed, which was cool, I guess. I was hoping to see a seahorse, but we didn't see any. But seahorses hang on to the seaweed with their little tails. And I thought that would have been really cute to see. I tried to channel a seahorse and hang on, but I survived. Anyway, I was not sure for a second that I would, but I did.
No wonder Dex went to college there. Why would you ever want to leave such a beautiful fairy tale town?
The hills, the valley, the river, and the buildings with their tile roofs, the culture, the sweet street of craftsmen selling their wares that are like, and artisans selling their wares that are, you know, and a lot of them very traditional.
And it's just really wonderful to still see skilled craft and art like thriving in that town.
It was a very charming fairy tale place, and special to see where Dex went to school.
We have some Bulgarian wildlife here. Some sort of castle lizard. Just living, slithering on some 13th century or 14th century rocks.
And there's beautiful lichen here. It's gray and silver and white. And when we were in Kaliakra, it was rust and ochre and marigold. So it's been a nice lichen experience. I'm liking it a lot.
I think we had the perfect little bit of everything there, because we had the ancient fortress, we had cute shopping and delicious meals, we had that fun late night at the Horseman where we were just shooting the shit and eating snacks and wishing we had weed. It ticked so many boxes.
We took the train to Trianovo Monastery, which has its own train station. And we were kind of expecting, when we got off the train, to be dropped off at the monastery. We were dropped off in the middle of the forest.
The train tracks to the monastery is absolutely wild. I literally don't know how more people don't die because there's no signage. I had no internet reception. It was raining, and I just don't know how a train station could be abandoned, but then still be fully functional as a stop to this amazing tourist attraction.
The train left, and it was just us and the forest and some train tracks. And we were like, oh, okay, I guess we'll just walk there. But there wasn't even like a trail next to the tracks, so we had to walk along the tracks. Anyway, it all worked out. It was a really kind of magical hike. I really enjoy that memory. A cute little row of ducks walking in the rain. Of course, on the way back, we learned that there is a trail that we completely missed somehow. But I'm glad that we missed it because it was really fun.
I loved walking through the rain. I love the mistiness. That was like a beautiful immerse in nature kind of experience. Very peaceful, and the rock formations, you know, surrounded by the bluffs and the mountains, and being in that cave where there's ancient civilizations.
Bachakito Cave was named after Bachakito, who never lived there, but he was a rebellion leader against the Ottomans. Anyway, the cave has been inhabited. You know, they talk about how Europe is super old. Humans have been there for 45,000 years, and bears have also been there, and it was just amazing thinking how people go to Europe and they're like, wow, these ruins are so old, and what's really older is caves. And that cave used to be underwater, and we saw crab pinchers and shells.
I cannot believe that the monks did not know that this amazing cave was behind their monastery for like many years or decades, first of all. Second of all, we learned on that tour that there were so many bats, species of bats that live in Bulgaria.
I actually think today has been one of my most favorite days because I was with all of my friends in Bulgaria eating Bulgarian food at a monastery.
I had fun tasting things. I tasted a droplet from a stalactite in the cave. I tasted a Japanese lantern apple brown cherry. Actually, I ate several. Those are delicious. I tasted a juniper berry, and I tasted a mysterious purple berry, and I'm still alive. So
There was the train tracks and the mountain, and it was very beautiful with all the fog coming in. And we all thought, what a beautiful place to take nudes. So we're like, we have time. So I start undressing. As soon as we turn and look, there's a train coming. So I sprint back to this abandoned building and quickly put my clothes on as fast as I can. And kudos to Amanda, who held up a jacket. I'm barefoot. There's no bra. It just looked like I quickly had a good time. So that's a memory I'll never forget.
And it was a nice stop before we started the intense trekking.
We're about to hike Musala. It's the highest peak in the Balkans. I'm excited, and I love starting below tree line with beautiful trees and dense forests, and then we're going to get above tree line. It's going to be rocky, and we're going to see some alpine lakes in the distance, and it's going to be a great day.
I'm really excited to do this with all of my friends. I'll be carrying a lot of food, which is great for me because people will be eating the food and my pack will become lighter. Therefore, I can be faster than everyone but Jeff. We're taking a contentious lift/gondola, so who knows what it'll end up being.
I'm nervous because I'm afraid of heights, so but I know it's going to be thrilling. But my heart's going to be pounding when we're up high and in the gondola. Look at us, we're in a little floating bubble.
We will ascend 3,000 meters up the peak, and then we'll be hiking for about 5 hours total, something like that. I don't know.
It sounds like we're going to do 9.
Something between like 10 and 13 miles.
I truly succeed when I understand the miles or the time. And it felt like some days or parts we had neither the conception of miles or the conception of time it would take to complete those miles. Okay, halfway there. Okay, a quarter there. Okay, 1 more mile there. And then only to find out I had several more miles or several more hours to go.
This is already one of the most beautiful things I have ever seen. And we are just starting our day. I don't know where we are, but it's beautiful. And I'm having an excellent morning. We took these old, vintage, but sturdy cable cars to get here. Coffee. I pooped. I had truffle butter with very seedy Bulgarian bread for breakfast. It's amazing.
I thought I was ready for this hike.
I did think I was prepared for it.
I was not ready for this hike.
I did not think I was ready or prepared for that hike. I signed up for climbing the tallest peak on the Balkan Peninsula, knowing that I was not prepared for it.
I didn't think I was necessarily ready for it. I didn't think it would hurt my feet so much.
I knew it would be long. I knew it would be hard. I did not know that the descent coming down off of the south side would be so devastating on my knees. My knees hurt for the rest of the trip. And it was that first descent that really killed them. The ascents were hard, but it was fine. I'm more familiar and more used to like muscle fatigue, you know. That's something that's kind of satisfying in a way, that like the muscular exhaustion of climbing a mountain. But the knee pain from going down the mountain was not as satisfying.
The foot pain. I guess it's just that walking on rocks for that long is fucking painful. That was really the hardest part.
Day 1 of hiking was extremely difficult. And all of us, after the first day, started questioning whether it was wise or even possible to complete the rest of the hike. The first day was 10 hours of hiking up this tall peak, and I was dead.
I didn't run out of energy, except that day that I was sick and had the shits, so I couldn't eat and drink. I didn't run out of energy in that sense. Like, I had endurance, and it was also beautiful, so that kept you going. It's just hurt the feet so bad.
It was so hard. And then coming down the mountain was actually a lot harder than going up. The trail was slippery. There were loose rocks everywhere. And I was worried that I was just gonna fall down the whole mountain because you couldn't really hang on to the ground at all.
Many of us had never even done backpacking, period. And here we are, 8-hour, 10-hour long days of hiking. And you have to get to the next mountain hike. There's no other alternative.
I cried. And when I was crying, I had the thought of I shouldn't be crying because I'm wasting electrolytes. And other times I was laughing a lot because the people that I'm with were really funny, but it was hard to laugh because they didn't have enough oxygen to laugh. So it was just a tough day. But it was very, very beautiful. One of the most beautiful places I've ever been. And I'm really glad that we did it.
Right now, I am feeling like the luckiest person on earth to be having this experience.
I'm also feeling tired, proud of ourselves that we've gotten this far. My heart is starting to beat really fast and I feel a little headachy because of all of the elevation. We're at a magical spot. Where are we at?
Karen says 8,888 feet. I think the summit up there is just around 10,000 feet. I forget exactly. So far today, we've hiked 3 miles or something, but that was some of the hardest 3 miles I've ever done. Has it been 4 hours? Wow. All right.
I've never done this, the hiking with the pack, with your supplies for
Yeah, me neither.
4 to 5 days.
But it's awesome.
It is.
It's beautiful, and it's fun. The challenge is fun, and when we get to the top, it's going to feel amazing to have gotten to the top. And just over there, we can still see where we started hiking today. It's right there. And the highest point is right there, which is also visible from where we started.
There's 6 of us with all different physical abilities and I think comfort with especially the weight we're carrying. So I think people are going at their own pace, and then we all reconvene for these lovely moments. We're about to go up on the summit. I think we're going to attempt to go up all together so we can be there at the top, at the highest point in the Balkans.
Dex suggested this when we were thinking about the trip, and he was like, well, we don't really have to do it. I don't really want to do it. It's going to be really hard. And I was like, no, we're doing it. And I started regretting that decision 20 minutes into walking because I don't like hiking. I knew that about myself, but I don't do it enough to remember how much I dislike it. It was really unpleasant. It was hot. There were a lot of rocks. There were a lot of tourists who would not get out of the way when you're on the trail. We were carrying heavy packs.
As we got more and more away from tourists and a bunch of people, we were able to enjoy the nature and the trails and the tranquility of the place.
I'm practicing breathing, some different kind of breathing stuff, little adjustments on my pack, wherever I can get comfort. I forgot to refill my water, so the liquids that I have with me are a box of apple juice, a can of Coke, and a bottle of whiskey.
Also, I love Sonia's shirt, and it's really easy to spot her on the trail.
We made it to the hut eventually, which was, we expected to be primitive, but was even more primitive than we thought. The showers are outside, freezing cold, no stalls, just buck naked. We didn't have time to shower anyway, so it didn't matter. But it's super beautiful, obviously. The food took literally an hour and a half to get, but was incredible. We had beans as promised, and sausage, and cabbage, and pork, all very, Eastern Europe classics. And for breakfast, we had French toast with feta and fig jam, so really, really incredible. I had 3 coffees this morning, which is why I'm a totally different person right now than I was 12 hours ago. Not even 12 hours ago. It's 8 in the morning. We just got here 12 hours ago. We got here in the dark. Did not get eaten by bears. Didn't even see a bear, but we did have a magical, mystical experience with a mountain goat, which came close to us while we were taking a break.
We saw that sweet mountain deer, goat, antelope creature and felt blessed by that because it really spent some time with us.
Yeah, and so that was the first day in the mountains. That was our first day in the mountains. And yeah, we were in the mountains for 2 more full days after that, with like 10-mile hikes each day.
Just getting ready for hiking. Absolutely bonkers. What are we doing day 2? So many times yesterday I was like looking around thinking, what are we doing? We're on top of these very high mountains, like, and we keep doing it. We keep climbing another peak. We kept thinking, oh, we're just going around this little peak, and then nope, we were going up to the top of another peak. Sometimes we were on the very edge, which was very challenging emotionally for me. And it was just unbelievable that we were doing this, that we were just like hiking along this trail in these mountains at the very tippy top, and we were the only ones. And it was really cool that I could see everybody for the most part along the trail. Like I would look back and see Karen and Dex, I would look ahead and see Sonia. For a good portion of the beginning, I could see Jeff and Andrew on this trail winding through the mountains, and nobody else. And after we got here and had a hangry conversation over dinner, we came back out at night to see the stars. And it was just so beautiful, so beautiful. The Milky Way, and just being completely surrounded in the black night, with a little mastica in my system, making me feel warm and fuzzy and silly and enchanted all over again. And I shockingly don't feel really shitty today. My knees are a little tender, but I'm very proud of ourselves from yesterday.
I'm super excited for today. I think it's gonna be easier than yesterday, but I started thinking, you know, when I was like, oh, this part of the trail is flat. We're in like the fucking mountains, so maybe none of the parts will be flat in the terms that I think of as flat.
When we first started off, we were feeling good, somewhat recovered from the first day, which was intense, very hard. And there was this point when we viewed Musala and all the other peaks that we hiked through the day before, and I was feeling really proud. Wow, you know, I just made 50 years and I did that hike. That's amazing.
The route was not quite as steep, but there was a lot of up and down and up and down and more down and more up and more down. And the landscape was incredible. I mean, it kept changing so much, but by the end of the day, I was in a lot of pain and I cried all the way down a mountain because I was hurting so much.
I was just unprepared for how difficult it was and feeling a little bit upset that I wasn't in a better place for it. And I was also crying sometimes out of happiness because, you know, we took this trip just a year out from the major abdominal surgery that I had, and we didn't know after that surgery how I would recover. I certainly didn't ask the doctor, hey, is it okay if I climb a really tall mountain in a year? I did, I guess, and it turned out okay, but even in the moment I was like, I don't know if I should be doing this, and I am doing it and I'm okay. And so some of it was just very emotional because it's the hardest thing I have done since trying to bike the Oregon coast. And it was way harder than trying to bike the Oregon coast, and I wasn't ready. So yeah, I cried a lot.
But I was really grateful because people have been so helpful. I mean, Jeff carried my pack a good chunk of the way up Musala Peak, and Dex and Amanda and other people have been encouraging and patient, and it has allowed me to enjoy something that I know that I wouldn't have been able to enjoy without the company of friends. And I've been having a great time.
Equipment-wise, I don't think I brought the correct footwear, but I was actively trying something different with my shoe choice. But I did very intentionally try to be, and probably succeeded in being, the lightest pack amongst the group.
It was raining on us and the weather was doing this and that. Dex said, it'd be really nice if the rain would stop and the sun would come out and we get a rainbow. I'm gonna manifest it by saying that. We rounded the corner and the sun came out and a giant rainbow came out and blessed us. It was across the valley with each end at the base of 2 hills.
Pro tip. Listen to your friends when they say you need to drink more water. Because if you don't drink water, what ends up happening is that you make very poor decisions, which leads to you wobbling on the trail. And because of that, I fell a couple of times and I got injured. So let me show you those injuries. So on this leg, this is from some rocks. It doesn't look too bad, but it was painful. And then on this leg, I have a big old scratch from another rock. And then an injury that you can't see is it's very bruised right here because when I fell, my metal water bottle which was empty, was right here. And I landed like dunk, and it like metal water bottle side, and I went doink, and that was painful. So listen to your friends when they say you need to drink more water.
But also, watch out for cows. They'll come for you.
The cow. You might get three different stories about the cow. That's entirely possible. So we already did our big climb into the mountains on the first day. So that second day, we were fully in the mountains. So it was on that day where one of the, we like come up over some little peak, or, some like little pass between 2 peaks. And in the valley below is a herd of cows.
The cow was very unsuspecting because we had seen hundreds of cows in the fields. So we were like, oh, they're all over there.
And, I don't know, an hour later or whatever, we are just hiking along the trail, and we round a bend, and there's a cow on the trail.
Down below is a herd of the Bulgarian valley cow, not to be confused with the more solitary Bulgarian mountain cow.
And this cow had horns, like cows should, but like cows often don't in the States. And cows are big. And so I was immediately wary. I was like, there's a very large horned animal on our path. But, I just kind of like talked to it and kind of, I was like, hey, excuse me, cow, we're trying to go that way. And the cow turned and walked that way and just walked ahead of us for, 20, 30 minutes or something.
And we were like, okay, that's fine. It didn't bother us. We didn't bother it. We were just following behind it.
But then we reached a part of the mountain where the vegetation disappeared. It got really rocky. And just a little bit into that, the cow decided it wanted to turn around and go back to where there was greenery.
And it started coming back towards us.
We're city folk. We don't know exactly what to do, other than give it space.
Uh-oh.
No, go back the other way.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
All right, cow, for real. I don't know how this works, you guys. I don't know either.
Okay, it's going.
Okay.
It's leaving.
Real.
But yeah, definitely could have been cow food.
As the day went on, I just started feeling shittier and shittier. By the end of the day, I was just really, really weak and just hiking with tears in my eyes. Karen was in front of me also with tears in her eyes, I think, and Dex was in excruciating pain right behind me, and I was just dragging my hiking pole and finally made it down to the hut and got in my bed and laid down and cried really hard. And then my friends took care of me and everything was okay.
We finished in Fish Lake's hut, and there were horses and mountain dogs that were really friendly. We saw the horses bring in supplies that brought us our food. It rained right after we arrived. It was so beautiful and so uncomfortable.
One of the first thoughts I had when I woke up was like, before I move, I need to like be prepared for how much pain I'm going to be in. I remember thinking that. And then I moved and it was okay. It was a little creaky, but it could have been worse.
It was kind of shocking how like the next morning you would wake up and not be as sore as you thought you were going to be and be like, oh, great, this isn't so bad. And then, you know, sure enough, halfway through the day, you're like, my feet fucking hurt.
I think I was ready for the soreness, and I feel like I slept really well every night. And I tried to do some stretches and drink water and electrolytes and things of that. So no, I actually don't feel like I was very sore.
Our final hike was from the Fish Lake hut to Rila Monastery.
We took the yellow trail back and boop, off of the map onto the other page to the monastery.
Today on our final hike as a 6-person crew, we've been blessed with berries. My fingers are a little stained and they're the best raspberries I've ever had in my life.
Hey, let's get out of here and abandon these rascals.
I'm putting moleskin on Dex's blisters so he's more comfortable.
Dex, what are you doing?
Here you go.
I will.
3 days ago, we took a lift halfway-ish up to Masala Peak and then climbed it. And that was the last time I mentioned that I don't like hiking because I had forgotten. And since then I've hiked a lot. And I still don't like it, but it has been a couple of the most incredible days of my life. I am really bad at going downhill specifically, like very, very, very ungraceful and terrified for my life because I don't want to sprain an ankle in the middle of the mountains where there's no medical attention. And I am kind of notorious for falling a lot on flat ground even. So it's just a challenge. Then today we woke up after a really rough, cold night in a moldy hut. I don't even remember what I had for dinner because I was so tired by then, but it was delicious, I think. I just didn't sleep for a while because I was so cold and in pain, and I woke up in even more pain than I was yesterday.
So we concluded our hike about 35 miles through the Rila Mountains at the Rila Monastery, and it was just a really nice conclusion to a very beautiful hike through the mountains. This is such an incredible trip, and I'm really happy to be here.
And the group is going to continue up to 7 lakes, and I'm really sad I won't be able to join them for that beautiful part. But the last 3 days were absolutely stunning, and I'm really lucky to be here.
2 days ago, after climbing Masilla, my alarm went off, and I was like, oh, it's time to go to work. And I remembered I was in the mountains, and I was like, no, I have to go hike instead of to work. And I just really tell you how this experience has been. But after I came to my senses, I was really happy to be here at this monastery, which is, by any standard, really very uncomfortable still, because the beds seem kind of broken, and we're sharing rooms, and it's like 10th century. I mean, this place is old, although I think it was restored in the 19th century or 18th century, something like that. I think the Ottomans burned it down. You shouldn't take his Bulgarian history lessons from me, though. But they have just created this incredibly beautiful place that, after hiking through the mountains, just feels amazing and magical and restorative. We had an incredible meal, and I cried a little bit when I saw it, just because I feel so lucky to be here. Yeah, and I'm glad that we are done hiking for now, but I'm still looking forward to more hiking later, because I think my body did pretty well, all things considered. Like the fact that I didn't prepare for this trip at all and decided to climb the highest peak in the Balkans just because I wanted to, without any preparation or even knowing how many miles we were going to do in any given day, because it was just hard information to find. We were just like, let's go for it. And we went for it, and we did it, and it was awesome.
If we had actually known what we were doing, we would have been like, we have no business doing this. So it's probably best that didn't realize that, because then maybe we wouldn't have said yes to everything.
Hiking 3 days straight, I do think was a good amount of time to get through as much as we did. But thank God somebody in the group recommended stopping after the 3 days, because if we had gone on a 4th day or even a 5th day, I don't think we would have lived to tell the tale. It was beautiful. It was awesome. It was also just like, oh, that's a sheer cliff that I'm about to cascade and tumble into.
We went down to a graveyard right before sunset, and there were these stone steps that we had to go down. I don't know, like 30 or 40 of them or something. And I had to laugh because I felt so ridiculous going down those steps. But I wanted to cry.
I cried twice. Once because Karen was making me upset, so I excused myself, and then I cried outside. And then the second time was on the way to the monastery, and that was one of those mental blocks that I had hit, where we had thought it was X amount of miles or X amount of time, and then when we got internet service, we realized it was actually even farther away. So that whole time I was just preparing to be done, only to learn that I was not done. And that was also a very unflattering moment within myself, where I snapped at the group. And I'm sorry, friends, that I was not kind in that moment. So yes, I cried twice.
Something that nobody wants to talk about. Grumpiness, having a short fuse, not having compassion. And those are all things that I need to practice, especially when I'm at my limit. And I think that's very important that in a friend group such as ours, that we practice kindness and empathy, and just acknowledge that we are all doing our best, and we're all doing it. And that's something to really be proud of. So I don't want to undermine that accomplishment, but I also don't want to say that everything is yogurt and roses, as they say in Bulgaria.
The monastery was a much needed respite in the mountain trek. It felt very peaceful, and there was a luxuriousness of just relaxing and moments to just stare off and sit still and notice little things and enjoy the rituals of the monks and the chanting and the bells and the trees and the cats. So it was a time to just have that, like, sort of be still. You need time to like reflect on all of the adventures you're having and let them soak in. And it was a beautiful setting to do that in.
It's my birthday today. I'm 37, and for my birthday, my wonderful friends brought me to the hottest geyser in continental Europe. There's this fountain, discovered in 1957, and they built the fountain a couple years later, and it's pretty hot. It's like hot right now, I can feel it. It's probably the sun. Okay, that's all.
I had a magical birthday because I got to spend it with a pack of friends, human, and a pack of dogs, and some cats, but I'm not much of a cat person. But we were in this small spa town, and unfortunately didn't really get to spend much time in the spa. That came later. But there were dogs. There were street dogs, which I was promised, and I had been waiting for the moment where we saw a pack of street dogs, and it finally came. They were a little mean to each other, but that was okay. I really enjoyed giving them French fries and dinner.
The ski lift is very quiet, very tranquil. It's nice and slow. And today is going to be our last day of hiking, which I think will be wonderful after 2 days of rest. And then we're coming back home.
The Seven Lakes hike, it was our last hike, last day in the mountains.
It was the most rustic lodging experience that we had. I mean, even a simple thin vegetable broth tastes delicious when you've been hiking all day, but it was very, very rustic.
They kept some puppies in a shed, and you might be hearing that and think, oh no, how cruel, animal abuse. But it was probably the best thing for the puppies. You know, keep them safe, keep them warm, keep them together. I didn't really interact with them because Karen was mostly hogging them.
The Seven Lakes were beautiful, and they were all the more beautiful because we didn't have to hike all the way up the mountain to see them. We took a ski lift, we were well rested, and we didn't have to carry all of our things. That was amazing. I'm sure they'd be amazing even if I had to carry all my things, but the best part at the time was I was like, I don't have to carry my whole pack with me.
Those mountains were so beautiful, and it felt so good to be in wilderness. And so mostly what I was feeling that day was just, this is my last day in the mountains.
We just climbed up the 7 lakes of Rila Mountains, and we had 2 days off before this. Our legs were really tired coming out of the mountains the first part, and we were like, man, we could never climb a mountain again. And Dex was like, well, we're not going to be carrying our stuff, and it's pretty flat. But it was really hard. It was not flat. But it's super beautiful, and I'm really happy that I'm in the mountains again, and kind of amazed that my legs haven't fallen off. We did see 7 lakes. They got more beautiful, as promised, as we got higher. And I'm very happy that we did this, even though it's really hard.
When we were planning this trip, one of the main things that kept coming up that we had to work around was talking about when the White Brotherhood would be around. The White Brotherhood sounds racist if you speak English and live in the United States. There are these people that wear white robes and go in circles and dance and worship the sky or the sun or something like that. But we didn't see them. We didn't see anyone in white robes, so we did arrive at their sacred site in the Rila Mountains and made our own little sun worshipping.
Sometimes when I do this stuff, people are like, why do you do things that hurt so bad? And it's just that sometimes seeing this kind of beauty, the only way you can see these mountains is on foot. And when you're doing these things and you're in pain or you're uncomfortable, I think there are kind of 2 ways to deal with it. And one is to wallow in it, which
ruins the trip, ruins the whole experience if all you can think about is the pain and the misery and the discomfort. Well, I guess there are three ways. There's another way. You can actually find pleasure in the pain. I don't do that, but I know some people can, I guess. I tend to try to find satisfaction in the pain. Like on these hikes, we were climbing and descending thousands of feet per day. And most of our hikes, most of our days were 10-ish miles over some pretty rugged terrain. So on top of seeing this incredible stuff, the scenery, the wildlife, you're also just accomplishing these massive climbs. We climbed the highest peak in the Balkans. So despite all of the discomfort that collectively our group was experiencing, we did something cool, we worked for it. Now, if that's not your kind of vacation, that's legit. It's not necessarily my kind of vacation. But then also, it is my kind of vacation.
On the last night in Bulgaria, Dex took us to a restaurant. The food was amazing, and it was just really amazing to kind of see people get up from their chairs and join in on the festivities and the dancing and the joy. I really loved kind of ending the trip on that note, on that button. And it was just really amazing to see Karen and Amanda saying, fuck it, and just joining in on that. I was too reserved and too much of a chicken to join because I just didn't want to mess up and have people look at me. But that is so wonderful about Karen and Amanda, in that they don't care.
Tonight was very magical. We had delicious eats and we got to see so many people dancing. First, we had the traditional dancers, and they were, dressed in the traditional garb, and I love the jangling coins and the hankies. And also, they were just smiling so big the whole time, and all the clapping and whistling. It was very, very joyous. It's contagious. Yeah, we're having a really good time, and the only thing that can make it more perfect is if Rada was here. It was a very special trip because it was a new place. It was physically exciting and arduous. It was breathtakingly beautiful, but it was really special because of who I was with and the love and weirdness of the people in that group. And it was a true escape. It wasn't luxurious, but it was a true escape because you were so present and you couldn't think about much else. I was so pleased, and I won't say surprised because I love these people, but a little bit surprised because traveling can be stressful, about how well we all did together as far as supporting each other and just taking care of each other. Normally when you travel with people, you'd have more times where you go off and jaunt separately, but because, for instance, the hikes, you can't even do that. We spent most of our time together. It's just a special time. You don't get to spend that much time together as adults, all together intimately in that way. And so I'll treasure it.